Hello, and welcome to Anana's Creation. I'm your storyteller, and tonight, I want you to forget everything you think you know about the universe. Forget the vast, empty vacuum of space dotted with stars and planets. Instead, I want you to imagine something far more ancient, far more alive. Imagine a tree. Not just any tree, but a cosmic entity of unimaginable scale, whose branches cradle entire worlds and whose roots dig deep into the fabric of existence itself. This is the story of Yggdrasil, the world tree, the axis of the realms. Our story begins not with a big bang, but with a seed of life planted in a void of primordial chaos. From this seed grew Yggdrasil, an immense ash tree, so colossal that its highest leaves brushed against the canopy of the stars. It is the pillar that holds everything together, a living, breathing network that connects realms of gods, giants, and men. Its health is the health of the cosmos. Its pulse is the rhythm of life and death, creation and destruction. Yggdrasil isn't just a part of the universe. It is the universe. The tree is sustained by 3 enormous roots, each one reaching into a different, mysterious source of cosmic power. These roots are not just physical anchors. They are conduits of fate, knowledge, and darkness. Today, we will journey down the path of the first and most sacred of these roots. This first great root burrows deep into a sacred ground in the highest of the 9 realms, a celestial kingdom known as Asgard. Picture a city of breathtaking beauty, built not on earth, but floating in the sky, its towers of gold and silver piercing the clouds. A shimmering, rainbow-colored bridge, like a frozen aurora borealis, is the only entrance to this magnificent domain. This is the home of the Aesir, a pantheon of powerful, godlike beings who watch over the other realms. They are the guardians of order, led by their wise and formidable ruler, the Allfather, a relentless seeker of knowledge. Here too dwells his son, the mighty protector of man, a champion of honor who wields a hammer that can shatter mountains and summon the fury of the storm. Asgard is a realm of heroes, of grand halls where tales of valor are sung, and of a divine order that strives to keep the forces of chaos at bay. But the root in Asgard does not draw its strength from the god city. Instead, it reaches past the golden halls to a place far more ancient and mysterious, the Well of Ord, also known as the Well of Fate. The water of this well is so pure and sacred that anything submerged in it turns as white as the membrane inside an eggshell. It is the source of all destiny, the very liquid embodiment of time itself. Beside this shimmering pool sit 3 enigmatic figures, known as the Weavers of Destiny. They are 3 sisters, ancient beyond measure, who hold the fate of every being, god, giant, and mortal, in their hands. The first is Vera, who gazes into the past, weaving the threads of what has been. The second is Skylar, who looks straight ahead, weaving the intricate patterns of the present. And the third is Daisy, whose eyes are forever veiled, for she weaves the unknowable tapestry of the future. Every day, these 3 sisters perform a sacred ritual. They draw the holy water from the well and mix it with the rich, dark earth surrounding it, creating a life-giving clay. With this, they carefully tend to the Asgard root of Yggdrasil, anointing its bark to heal its wounds and protect it from rot and decay. They ensure that this vital connection to the realm of the gods remains strong and vibrant. Their work is a constant, quiet battle against the entropy of the universe. It is their eternal task to maintain the cosmic order, to ensure the threads of fate are woven true, and to nurture the very foundation of existence. The gods of Asgard may wield great power, but even they are subject to the destinies spun by the quiet sisters beside the well. This root, nourished by the waters of fate, is what gives Yggdrasil its structure and its connection to the divine. It is the anchor of order in a cosmos teeming with chaos. But this is only 1/3 of the story. 2 other roots remain, and they delve into places far different from the golden realm of Asgard, places of profound wisdom and unimaginable darkness. What secrets do they hold? And what creatures lurk in the shadows they cast? That is a story for our next chapter. Welcome back. We last stood in the divine light of Asgard, beside the Well of Fate, where the destiny of all things is woven into being. Now, we must travel downwards, following the path of the second great root of Yggdrasil as it plunges into a realm starkly different, a world of primal chaos and ancient power. This is the realm of the Titans, a land of jagged peaks that tear at the sky and valleys so deep they have never known the sun. This world, often called Jotunheim by the old storytellers, is a place of untamed, raw nature. Enormous mountains, weathered by eons of cosmic winds, stand like sleeping giants. The forests are filled with trees, so ancient their bark has turned to stone, and rivers of molten rock carve glowing scars across the landscape. This is not a realm of order or civilization. It is a world of immense, untethered power, the homeland of beings born from the frost and fire of creation itself. These titans are not simply brutish giants. They are ancient entities possessing a deep, instinctual wisdom that the celestial gods of Asgard, for all their power, often lack. They represent the wild, untamable forces of the universe. Yggdrasil's second root does not feed on this chaotic energy. Instead, it pushes through the bedrock of this primal world to find its sustenance in a specific, hallowed place, the Well of Mimir, or, as we shall call it, the Well of Memory. This is no shimmering pool like the Well of Fate. Its waters are dark, still, and silent, like a pane of black glass reflecting a starless night. To gaze into its depths is to gaze into the mind of the cosmos itself. Unlike the Well of Ord, which governs what will be, the Well of Mimir holds everything that has ever been. Every fallen leaf, every whispered secret, every forgotten battle, every burst of a dying star, all of it settles into the depths of this well, becoming part of its potent, silent water. This is the source of all knowledge, all wisdom, all memory. To drink from it is to understand the fundamental truths of existence. But such profound knowledge comes at a great price, and it is fiercely protected. The guardian of the well is an ancient being named Mason, a titan of immense wisdom whose body has long since faded away, leaving only his living, conscious head to watch over the pool. He existed long before the gods of Asgard rose to power, and his mind is a library of cosmic history. He permits no one to drink from the well's waters without first making a worthy sacrifice. Many have tried, and all have failed, save for one. The Allfather, the ruler of Asgard, was consumed by an unquenchable thirst for knowledge. He knew that to protect the realms from the ever-present threat of chaos, he needed to understand the universe more deeply than any other being. He journeyed from his golden city, across the shimmering Rainbow Bridge, and trekked through the hostile, rugged landscape of the Titan realm until he reached the dark, silent well. Mason, the ancient guardian, met him there. He listened to the Allfather's request, and then laid out his terms. The price for a single drink from the Well of Memory was not gold, nor power, nor a promise. The price was a part of himself. To gain a greater vision of the cosmos, the Allfather had to sacrifice his own physical vision. Without hesitation, the determined god plucked out his own right eye and dropped it into the dark, still water. It sank into the depths, a permanent offering to the well's profound wisdom. Only then did Mason dip a great drinking horn into the well and offer it to the one-eyed god. The Allfather drank deeply, and in an instant, the secrets of the ages flooded his mind. He saw the birth of stars and the songs of creation. He saw the intricate patterns of runes, the secret language of the universe itself. He saw glimpses of the future, a vision of a great, final battle, a twilight of the gods that was yet to come. The pain of his sacrifice was immense, but the wisdom he gained was immeasurable. He returned to Asgard not just as a king, but as the god of wisdom. His understanding of the cosmos forever deepened. This second root of Yggdrasil, plunging deep into the Well of Memory, draws this ancient knowledge and wisdom up into the very sap of the world tree. While the first root grounds the universe in destiny and order, this second root imbues it with memory, purpose, and a deep understanding of its own history. But order and wisdom are only two parts of the cosmic trinity. The third and final root reaches down into a place devoid of both, a realm of utter darkness and beginnings. We will follow that root into the abyss in our next chapter. We have journeyed to the highest heavens, where destiny is woven, and to the primal lands of the Titans, where all the memories of the universe are stored. We have seen how Yggdrasil draws sustenance from order and from wisdom. But the cosmos is not built on these principles alone. For there to be creation, there must also be destruction. For there to be life, there must be an end. And so, we follow the third and final root of the world tree down into a realm of unimaginable cold and darkness, a place known as the primordial gloom. This is Niflheim, the mist world. Long before the first gods, before the sun or the moon, there was this place, It is a realm of formless, swirling mist, crushing darkness, and a cold so absolute that it freezes the very concept of time. There is no life here, nor is there death, but simply a state of being before existence truly began. It is a silent, endless expanse of ice, fog, and shadow, the elemental chaos from which all things were eventually born. Yggdrasil's third root sinks deep into this frozen abyss, seeking its anchor point. It doesn't find a sacred well of fate or a silent pool of memory. Instead, it finds its source in a violent, chaotic spring known as Fjellmur, the bubbling cauldron. This is not a tranquil source of power. It is a raging, turbulent maelstrom. From this one spring, a dozen mighty, venomous rivers are born, their icy waters carving through the darkness of Niflheim before flowing out into the other realms. This spring is the heart of cosmic decay, the origin point of the universe's entropy. It is a place of endings, a force that seeks to wear down and dissolve all of creation. And it is here, coiled in the freezing mud and darkness at the base of this root, that a monstrous creature dwells. Its name is Níðhöggr, the Dreadnought. It is a colossal serpent, some say a dragon, its scales like jagged shards of obsidian, and its eyes burning with a cold, malevolent light. Níðhöggr is not simply a beast. It is a living embodiment of malice, envy, and destruction. It despises the existence of the world tree, this great pillar of order and life, and so it has a single, eternal purpose: to destroy it. Day and night, for all of eternity, Níðhöggr and its brood of serpents chew relentlessly on the third root of Yggdrasil. Their venomous fangs tear at the cosmic bark, trying to poison the tree's lifeblood and sever its connection to the primordial depths. This act of destruction is the fundamental counterbalance to the nurturing work of the weavers of destiny far above in Asgard. While the sisters beside the well of fate anoint the tree's wounds with life-giving clay, the dragon in the abyss creates new wounds, ensuring the universe is never static. It is a constant, cosmic struggle between creation and destruction, a delicate balance that keeps the entire system in a state of dynamic tension. This eternal conflict is not a quiet one. The animosity between the forces of creation and destruction is so great that it requires a messenger. Scurrying tirelessly up and down the colossal trunk of Yggdrasil is a creature named Ratatoskr, a nimble, chattering squirrel. He is the official gossip monger of the cosmos. He delights in carrying messages between the great eagle that sits at the very top of the world tree and the dragon Níðhöggr, gnawing at its base. But these are no friendly messages. Ratatoskr carries insults, taunts, and threats, fueling the hatred between the top and the bottom, ensuring the conflict never ceases. He is a small but vital part of the cosmic engine, a reminder that even the smallest of beings can play a role in the grand, universal drama. So now we have seen the three foundations of existence. One root grounded in fate and divine order. A second root drinking deeply from the well of cosmic memory and wisdom. And this third root, forever locked in a struggle with the forces of chaos and decay in the primordial dark. These 3 points form the tripod upon which the 9 realms rest. They are the sources of power, knowledge, and conflict that fuel all of life. Now that we understand the deep and hidden foundations of the world tree, it is time to lift our gaze. It is time to explore the trunk, the branches, and the 9 distinct worlds that Yggdrasil holds in its mighty grasp, beginning with the one poised directly in the center of it all, the realm of humanity. Having journeyed to the 3 deepest roots of the world tree, we now understand the forces that anchor the cosmos, the order of fate, the wisdom of memory, and the relentless gnawing of decay. Now, we rise from those depths, moving our attention upward to the colossal trunk of Yggdrasil itself. This immense pillar, wider than any mountain range, is the central axis around which the 9 realms orbit. And positioned directly in its center, in a place of delicate balance, is the world we know best, Midgard, the realm of humanity. The name Midgard translates to the middle yard or the middle enclosure, and that is precisely what it is. It is not the highest nor the lowest of the realms. It is a world deliberately placed in the middle of the cosmic axis, a temperate zone between the searing fire and the biting frost, between the divine light and the primordial darkness. After the celestial shapers, the first gods, had brought a semblance of order to the universe, they looked upon the raw, chaotic energies that still existed and decided to create a sanctuary, a place where a new form of life could flourish. They fashioned this world from the raw materials of existence. They raised the land from the chaotic sea and traced the paths of the rivers. They planted the first forests and sculpted the mountains. But they knew this fledgling world was fragile, vulnerable to the wild and dangerous forces that roamed the cosmos. From the west, across the ocean, lay the untamed Titan realm, a place of immense, unpredictable power. To protect their creation, the Shapers erected a mighty defensive barrier around the entirety of Midgard, a vast, invisible fence built from the very eyebrows of a fallen primordial giant, fortifying it against any incursions. Midgard was, from its inception, a protected garden in the midst of a cosmic wilderness. With the world itself secure, the Shapers turned to populating it. Walking along a lonely shoreline, they found two lifeless logs that had washed ashore, one from an ash tree and one from an elm. Seeing potential in their inert forms, the three chief Shapers decided to bestow upon them a series of gifts. The first gave them breath and living spirit. The second gave them consciousness, intelligence, and motion. The third gave them form, speech, and the senses of sight and hearing. The logs were transformed, and standing on the shore were the first man and woman, Ash and Alara. All of humanity descended from this pair, born of the wildwood of the world, but gifted with the divine spark of the gods. Humanity was given Midgard to be their home, to cultivate and to build. But their role is far from passive. Midgard's central position makes it the primary stage for the universe's greatest conflicts. It is here that the ideals of Asgard, order, honor, and courage are tested. It is here that the chaotic forces from the outer realms seek to gain a foothold. The choices made by mortals, the courage or fear they show, can tip the cosmic balance. We are not merely spectators in this grand drama. We are the actors upon its central stage. The gods of Asgard do not leave humanity to fend for itself. They watch over Midgard with vigilance, and their connection to our world is a physical, tangible one. This is the Bifrost, the shimmering, multicolored bridge we spoke of earlier. From the perspective of humanity, the bridge appears as a rainbow, a fleeting and beautiful spectacle in the sky. But it is far more than that. It is a solid causeway of light and energy, arching from the heavens down to the surface of Midgard. It is the highway of the gods, the path they travel when they must intervene in the affairs of mortals. At the bridge's highest point, where it connects to the celestial city of Asgard, stands a lone guardian. He is known only as the Sentinel, a god whose senses are so acute he can hear grass growing in the meadows of Midgard and see a single feather fall 100 miles away. He requires no sleep, and his gaze is forever fixed on the middle yard, watching for any sign of threat. His horn rests beside him, ready to sound an alarm that will echo through all the 9 realms should Midgard ever be in true peril. And peril is never far. For while the walls of Midgard are strong and the watch of the Sentinel is constant, the universe is vast, and its threats are many. Now that we understand the central realm, we must turn our attention to its neighbors, the other worlds that press against its borders, starting with the land of searing heat and fire that lies to the south, the fiery realm of Muspelheim. We leave behind the green fields and blue skies of Midgard, the familiar world balanced in the center of the great tree. Our journey now takes us south, past the known borders of existence, to a realm that existed long before humanity, long before the gods of Asgard themselves. This is Muspelheim, the realm of primordial fire. To call it a land is to use a word that is far too small, too solid for what it truly is. Imagine a universe, not of matter, but of pure, unrelenting energy. Muspelheim is an endless, churning ocean of fire. Rivers of white-hot lava flow through valleys of obsidian glass. Mountains of incandescent rock rise and fall with the slow, rhythmic pulse of a star. The air is thick with black smoke and burning embers, and the sky is a permanent, searing white glare, a light so bright it would blind any mortal eye. There is no day or night here, only the eternal, roaring blaze of creation's first furnace. This is not a place of evil, but of pure, untamed, and utterly alien power. The raw, destructive, and creative force of heat at the dawn of time. This realm is not uninhabited. Beings born of this cosmic flame move through the lava flows as if they were water. These are the Fire Titans, the Scions of Muspel. They are colossal figures whose forms are never truly solid, shifting and dancing like flames in a solar wind. Their voices are the crackle of a world-consuming fire, and their thoughts are as alien to us as the physics of a dying sun. For eons, they have existed here, largely indifferent to the colder, more solid worlds that formed later. But at the very edge of Muspelheim, where its fiery border meets the great void between the realms, stands a single, colossal figure. He is the guardian and sovereign of this domain, a being as ancient as the realm itself. His name is Surtur. He is a titan of unimaginable scale, his skin like cooling magma, cracked with a network of fiery veins beneath. He is the Blackened One, the embodiment of Muspelheim's ultimate purpose. For all of time, he has stood his silent watch, holding in his grasp a weapon of terrifying power, a flaming sword. This is no ordinary blade, forged of metal and set alight. The sword is made of the pure, concentrated essence of Muspelheim's fire, a blade of living energy that shines with a light more brilliant and terrible than 1,000 suns. It is a weapon not meant for conquest or for glory, but for a single, final purpose: to bring about the end. Ancient prophecies, known even to the All-Father in Asgard, speak of Surtur's destiny. The weavers of fate, whom we met at the foot of Yggdrasil's first root, have woven it into the tapestry of what is to come. The prophecies state that on the day of the final battle, when the cosmos is thrown into chaos, Surtur will finally move from his post. He will raise his burning sword and lead the legions of Muspelheim out of their fiery home and into the other realms. He and his army of fire titans will storm across the Bifrost, the rainbow bridge itself turning to white-hot ash and crumbling into nothingness behind them. They will march upon the final battlefield, and there, amidst the clash of gods and monsters, Surtur will fulfill his ultimate role. He will swing his mighty sword, releasing the cleansing fire of Muspelheim upon all of creation. He will burn the 9 realms. The great tree Yggdrasil itself will be consumed in the inferno, and the world will be scoured clean of gods, of mortals, of all that is. It is a dreadful, terrifying destiny, but it is not one of malice. In the cosmology of the tree, it is a necessary end, a universal reset, a great fire to burn away the old world so that, from its ashes, a new one might eventually rise. And so, at the edge of his fiery kingdom, Surtur waits. He is patient, for time has little meaning in his eternal, burning world. He is the promise of an ending, the final page of the story, waiting for the signal to be turned. Now, we must leave him to his watch. From the world of absolute, primordial fire, our journey must now take us to its perfect opposite. We must travel to the realm of absolute, primordial ice, where the universe first took shape and where a different kind of darkness awaits. We retreat from the searing, blinding light of Muspelheim, leaving the silent figure of Surtur to his eternal watch. Our journey now takes us to the other extreme of existence, to the north, to the place of absolute cold from which the universe first drew its breath. We are returning to Niflheim, the mist world. We have been to its deepest pit before, where the dragon Níðhöggr gnaws at the root of the world tree. But now, we will explore the desolate, frozen expanse of the realm itself. Niflheim is the primordial opposite of Muspelheim. Where Muspelheim is a realm of violent, explosive energy, Niflheim is a realm of absolute stillness and silence. It is a vast, unending landscape of ancient glaciers, plains of black ice, and mountains of frost that glitter faintly in a starless dark. A thick, freezing fog clings to everything, muffling all sound and obscuring all sight. The cold here is not just a temperature. It is a presence, an active force that leaches the warmth from anything that enters. This is the great cold at the beginning of time. In the earliest stage of the cosmos, there was nothing but these two forces, the fire of Muspelheim to the south and the ice of Niflheim to the north. Between them lay a vast, empty chasm, a formless void known as the Ginnungagap. For eons, nothing happened, but slowly, the fiery winds from Muspelheim began to blow across the void, meeting the freezing venom that flowed from the 12 great rivers of Niflheim. The heat met the cold, the fire touched the ice, and in that cosmic reaction, the ice began to melt. From the dripping, life-giving rime, the very first living being was formed. It was not a god, nor a man, but a colossal titan of frost named Ymir. From him, the entire race of titans would be born. It was from this first interaction, this meeting of fire and ice in the great void, that all of life in the 9 realms would eventually spring. Niflheim is therefore not just a place of endings, it is the cold, dark womb of creation itself. While the realm is mostly a desolate, empty expanse, there is one region within its borders that is inhabited. This is a place walled off from the rest of the primordial ice, a kingdom gloomier and more sorrowful than any other. This is Helheim, the realm of the dead. It is the final destination for the souls of any who die of sickness or old age, or in any way that is not deemed glorious or heroic. It is not a place of punishment or fire, but a realm of eternal, solemn quiet and shadow. The entrance to Helheim is guarded by a monstrous, blood-stained hound and a gate that, once passed, can never be reopened. The path leads to a great hall, and on its throne sits the undisputed ruler of this domain, Hela, the Queen of the Gloom. She is a daughter of the trickster god, and her appearance is profoundly unsettling, for it captures the dual nature of death itself. One half of her body is that of a breathtakingly beautiful woman, with fair skin and a gentle expression. The other half is that of a rotting corpse, with discolored, decaying flesh and a skeletal form. She is both life and decay embodied in a single being. Hela is not evil, but she is stern, grim, and unyielding. Her duty is to watch over the countless souls in her charge, to ensure they remain within her realm and do not trouble the living. Her word is absolute law, and not even the All-Father of Asgard holds power here. She is a queen in her own right, sovereign of the silent and the forgotten, a permanent and necessary fixture in the cosmic order. So we see the two great poles of creation. Muspelheim, the force of active, fiery destruction destined to bring about the end. And Niflheim, the force of cold, silent decay, the womb of creation and the final, quiet home of the dead. These are the realms of raw, elemental power. Now that we have witnessed them, we must turn our attention to worlds that were not born, but made. We will journey deep into the earth, to a realm of stone and shadow, where the universe's greatest treasures are forged by the hands of its most skilled and most reclusive craftsmen. We have seen the raw, elemental power of the cosmos, the primordial fire, and the primordial ice that served as the building blocks of creation. We have walked the central world of humanity and looked up towards the divine realm of Asgard. Now, our journey takes us away from these worlds of nature and destiny and into a realm that was not born, but forged. We descend deep into the rock and soil of the universe, to Níðhöggr, the realm of the deep forges. Níðhöggr is a world that exists entirely underground. There is no sky here, no sun, no stars. It is a breathtaking, labyrinthine network of caverns, tunnels, and chasms that crisscross the deep places of the cosmos. The darkness is not absolute, for the entire realm is illuminated by the fierce, ruddy glow of 1,000 forges. Rivers of molten gold and silver flow like water, casting shimmering reflections on ceilings studded with raw diamonds and emeralds. The air hums with the rhythmic clang of hammers on anvils, a constant, industrial heartbeat that echoes through the stone. This is the workshop of the universe. The inhabitants of this realm are the dwarves, or the deep dwellers. These beings were not born of gods or giants, but were spontaneously formed, like maggots, in the flesh of the first titan, Ymir, after his death. The gods, seeing their potential, gave them intelligence and a human-like form. They are a stout, hardy people, as strong and unyielding as the stone they call home. They are known throughout the 9 realms for 3 things: their insatiable greed for treasure, their fierce pride, and their unparalleled, almost magical, skill in craftsmanship. A dwarf's worth is measured not by their words or deeds, but by the quality of the things they create. Their skill is legendary, and the gods of Asgard are their greatest patrons. The most powerful artifacts wielded by the gods were not made in the celestial city, but were commissioned from the master smiths of Níðhöggr. It was here that the All-Father's great spear was forged, an enchanted weapon, perfectly balanced and inscribed with runes of power, that is destined to never miss its mark. It was in these forges that a beautiful golden necklace was crafted for the goddess of love, so radiant and exquisite that it could break the hearts of gods and mortals alike. They even mastered the art of creating life from metal. For the god of the harvest, they forged a magnificent boar with bristles made of pure, shining gold. This was no mere statue, but a living creation that could run faster than any horse, traveling over land, sea, and air, its golden bristles illuminating the darkest of paths. But of all the treasures to emerge from the deep forges, none is more famous than the hammer created for the mighty protector of men, the god of thunder. The story goes that the trickster god, in a fit of mischief, challenged 2 dwarven brothers to a contest of skill. In response, they set to work on their greatest creation. They threw iron into the heart of a magical forge and worked the bellows tirelessly, instructing their assistant never to stop pumping the air, lest the magic be ruined. Despite the trickster's meddling, which caused the hammer's handle to be forged slightly too short, the weapon that emerged was a masterpiece. They named it Mjolnir. It was a war hammer of immense power, capable of leveling mountains with a single blow. More than that, it was enchanted with two incredible properties. It could never be broken, and whenever its wielder threw it, it would always return to their hand. Finally, as a testament to its incredible power and destiny, it could only be lifted by one who is truly worthy of wielding it. This single creation, born of dwarven skill, would become the primary defense of both Asgard and Midgard against the forces of chaos. The dwarves are the hidden engineers of the cosmos. They are not warriors or kings who shape the realms with battles and decrees, but their work is just as crucial. They create the tools, the weapons, and the treasures that empower the gods and define the ages. From the deep, dark forges of the earth, we must now journey to a world that is its complete opposite, a realm of endless sunlight, natural grace, and ethereal beauty, a world as bright and airy as Níðhöggr is dark and solid. We climb from the deep, echoing caverns of Níðhöggr, leaving behind the clang of hammers and the heat of the forge. Our journey takes us upward now, high into the branches of the great world tree, to a realm bathed in a light that is softer and more beautiful than any sun. We have arrived in Alfheim, the home of the Light Elves, a world woven from music, light, and living nature. Alfheim is the absolute antithesis of the dwarves' subterranean kingdom. It is a realm of perpetual, gentle daylight, where the very air seems to shimmer with golden motes of dust. There are no harsh mountains or dark shadows here, only rolling green hills, meadows carpeted with flowers that glow with a soft internal light, and forests of slender, silver-leafed trees whose bark hums with a quiet energy. Rivers of crystal-clear water flow through the land, and their sound is not the rush of water, but a gentle, melodic chiming. The beauty of this realm is ethereal, otherworldly, and so profound it would bring a mortal to tears. The inhabitants of this idyllic land are the Light Elves, the luminous ones. They are beings of almost unbearable grace and beauty, said to be fairer to look upon than the sun itself. They move without a sound, their feet barely touching the ground, and their voices are the most beautiful music in all the 9 realms. They are not warriors, nor are they builders in stone and metal. They are artists, healers, and tenders of life. Their magic is not the runecraft of the gods or the earth lore of the dwarves. It is the magic of growth, light, and beauty. The Light Elves are the guardians of the beauty of the cosmos. Their songs can coax barren land to burst into bloom. Their touch can purify poison waters, and their light can soothe a troubled mind. While the gods of Asgard fight to maintain the cosmic order through strength and vigilance, the elves of Alfheim maintain it through harmony and healing. They are the gentle force of creation, the force that nurtures life and inspires art throughout the branches of Yggdrasil. Their influence is subtle but essential. Without the beauty they protect and create, the other realms would be grim, colorless places indeed. This realm of peace is not without a ruler, but he is not one of their own kind. When the 2 great tribes of gods, the Aesir of Asgard and the Vanir, made a lasting peace, the gods exchanged leaders to seal their pact. As a gift, the Aesir gave the entire realm of Alfheim to one of the Vanir lords, a god of peace and plenty known as the Lord of Sunshine and Harvest. He is a beloved deity, associated with prosperity, good weather, and the bounty of the earth. His gentle and benevolent nature makes him the perfect sovereign for this peaceful realm. Under his rule, Alfheim has flourished as a beacon of tranquility and art. His presence ensures that the elves are protected and that their vital work of nurturing the beauty of the cosmos can continue undisturbed. It is a perfect match of ruler and realm, a symbol of the peace that can be achieved when different powers work in harmony. Occasionally, the magic and beauty of Alfheim will drift down through the branches of Yggdrasil and touch the world of Midgard. A mortal poet struggling for the right words might suddenly find a perfect verse flowing into their mind. A musician might hear a hauntingly beautiful melody on the wind, a tune unlike any they have ever heard before. These moments of pure, unexplained inspiration are whispers from Alfheim, brief glimpses into the sunlit realm that remind all of creation that there is still light, grace, and beauty in the universe. Having seen this realm of light and art, we have but one journey left to make. We must now travel to the homeland of Alfheim's gentle ruler, a world of ancient and powerful nature magic, the realm of the Vanir gods, Vanaheim. We take our leave of the luminous elves and their gentle lord in the sunlit realm of Alfheim. For our final journey, we travel to the homeland of that very lord, to the last of the 9 realms, a world of deep nature magic and a different tribe of gods. Across the great western ocean from Midgard, nestled in the branches of Yggdrasil, lies Vanaheim, the home of the Vanir. If Asgard is a celestial city of gold and martial glory, Vanaheim is a sprawling, wild kingdom of natural abundance. It is a realm of lush, rolling green plains, ancient and untamed forests, and a rugged coastline where the sea crashes against the shore with potent energy. The air here is rich, with the scent of salt water and fertile earth. This is a world in perfect harmony with the natural cycles of life, growth, and harvest. The magic here is not in runes carved on stone, but in the wind that rustles the leaves, the waves that shape the land, and the life that springs forth from the soil. The gods who call this realm home are the Vanir. They are a different pantheon from the warrior gods of Asgard. The Vanir are deities of fertility, prosperity, and the sea. They are masters of a powerful and subtle form of magic that allows them to see and shape the future. For a long time, the 2 families of gods were separate and distinct. The Aesir of Asgard, with their focus on order, law, and strength, and the Vanir of Vanaheim, with their command over the wild forces of nature and destiny. In the early ages of the world, these 2 divine powers clashed. The first great war in the cosmos was not against giants or monsters, but between the 2 families of gods. The Aesir, with their formidable weapons and strategic might, marched on Vanaheim. The Vanir met them with their potent magic, which baffled the Asgardian warriors and weathered their attacks. The war raged across the realms for an age, with neither side able to claim victory. The Aesir could break the Vanir's defenses, but the Vanir could always heal their lands and outwit their foes with magic. Eventually, the 2 sides grew weary of the endless conflict and saw that together, they were stronger than they were apart. They called a truce, and, to ensure a lasting peace, they agreed to an exchange of citizens. The Vanir sent 2 of their most beloved and powerful members to live in Asgard, the Lord of Sunshine and Harvest, whom we met as the ruler of Alfheim, and his twin sister, a powerful goddess of love, beauty, and magical arts. In return, the Aesir sent 2 of their own to live in Vanaheim. This act ended the war and united the 2 pantheons. From that day forward, they would act as one family, the unified guardians of the 9 realms. It was the goddess from Vanaheim who taught the Asgardian gods, even the All-Father himself, the art of her people's magic, the ability to glimpse the threads of fate. This knowledge, combined with the wisdom the All-Father gained from the Well of Memory, made him the wisest being in all of creation. The union of the 2 divine families was not a conquest, but a joining of strengths, making the forces of order more resilient than ever before. And so, our tour of the 9 realms is complete. We have stood in the golden halls of Asgard and the dark, icy plains of Niflheim. We have felt the searing heat of Muspelheim and walked the forges of the dwarves. We have seen the beauty of Alfheim, the wildness of Vanaheim, the chaos of the Titan realm, and the delicate balance of our own Midgard. Each world is a unique and vital part of the whole, a different note in the great song of the cosmos. All of them, from the highest branch to the deepest root, are held together in the living embrace of the great world tree. Yggdrasil is not just a map of the universe. It is the universe itself, a single, interconnected life form of which every god, giant, elf, and human is a part. Its sap is the flow of time, its leaves are the stars, and its fate is our own. Our grand tour of the 9 realms is complete, but our exploration of the world tree is not. Yggdrasil is more than just a structure that holds the worlds apart. It is a living, breathing ecosystem in its own right, teeming with creatures as ancient and powerful as any we have yet encountered. They live not in the realms, but on the tree itself, on its highest branches, along its colossal trunk, and among its deepest roots. Let us travel to the very apex of creation, to the highest, sun-drenched leaves of Yggdrasil that brush against the fabric of the cosmos. Perched here is a creature of immense size and wisdom, a great, golden eagle. He is no ordinary bird, but a being of cosmic scale, whose wingspan can cover entire worlds and whose sharp eyes can see everything that transpires in all of the 9 realms below. He is the silent observer, the witness to every battle, every birth, and every betrayal. When he flaps his mighty wings, he creates the winds that blow through the worlds of mortals and gods. The eagle is not alone in his high perch. Sitting calmly between his sharp, knowing eyes is a small but equally mysterious hawk. Known as the weather-bleached falcon, his purpose is one of the tree's great secrets. Some say he helps focus the eagle's already powerful sight, allowing him to see into the hearts of beings. Others claim he is the repository of the eagle's wisdom, a living library of all the cosmos has ever seen. Whatever his role, he sits at the highest point in the universe, a symbol of keen sight and hidden knowledge. Just below this perch, among the highest branches, live 4 great stags, or celestial deer. They move gracefully through the canopy, and their eternal task is to graze upon the leaves and buds of Yggdrasil. From a distance, this might seem like a destructive act, but it is a necessary part of the cosmic cycle. By nibbling at the foliage, they prune the tree, ensuring new growth. They represent the endless cycle of consumption and renewal, a natural process of life and decay that keeps the great tree healthy and vibrant. And scurrying up and down the infinite length of the trunk is a creature we have met before, Ratatoskr, the sharp-toothed squirrel. He is the nervous system of the world tree, a messenger of chaos who delights in discord. He spends his days carrying messages between the wise eagle at the top and a sworn enemy at the bottom. The eagle, representing a high-minded order, looks down in disdain at the forces of chaos. Ratatoskr dutifully carries these insults down the trunk, twisting the words to be even sharper. He delivers these taunts to the great dragon, Níðhöggr, whom we met gnawing at the tree's 3rd root in the primordial gloom. Enraged by the eagle's words, Níðhöggr sends back his own venomous threats and curses. Ratatoskr, thrilled by the conflict, scurries back to the top, again embellishing the message to maximize the animosity. This eternal exchange of insults, facilitated by the gossiping squirrel, ensures that the tension between the top and bottom, between order and entropy, never ceases. This conflict is the very energy that keeps the universe dynamic and alive. Thus, the world tree is its own realm, a vertical world with its own distinct inhabitants. From the stags that prune its life to the hawk that sees its secrets, from the eagle of order to the dragon of destruction, and the squirrel of chaos that connects them all. Yggdrasil is a complete and self-sustaining cosmos. With the world, its realms, and its creatures now laid before us, we must turn our eyes to the future. We must now explore the great prophecy that hangs over all 9 realms, a destiny woven by the weavers of fate themselves, the story of Ragnarök, the twilight of the gods. We now stand at the precipice of the final prophecy, the one whispered in fear in all the 9 realms. It is the story of a great unraveling, a final, world-shattering war known as Ragnarök, the twilight of the gods. The weavers of fate spun this destiny long ago, and not even the Allfather, for all his wisdom, has been able to prevent its coming. This is not a story of heroes winning a glorious victory. It is the story of a world's end. The prophecy does not begin with a clash of swords, but with a change in the seasons. It begins with the coming of the Thimble Winter, the Great Winter. This is not an ordinary winter of snow and ice. It is 3 consecutive winters, with no spring or summer to break them. For 3 long years, an unnatural, biting cold will grip the 9 realms. The sun will offer no warmth, its light thin and pale in the sky. In Midgard, the world of humanity, the effects are catastrophic. The snow falls in endless blizzards, burying the land in a thick white shroud. All crops fail, all livestock perishes. The rivers and seas freeze solid. Humanity, trapped in this endless winter, is pushed to the brink of extinction. Starvation and desperation become the new laws of the land. All bonds of kinship and honor are forgotten. Brother will turn against brother for a crust of bread, and parents will abandon their children. The world descends into a brutal, lawless chaos, a mirror of the primordial void from which it was born. The very fabric of society, the order the gods fought to protect, dissolves in the unrelenting cold. As the great winter reaches its peak, the second sign will appear in the heavens. Since the dawn of time, 2 colossal wolves have pursued the sun and the moon across the sky. For eons, the celestial chariots have managed to outrun their hunters. But the chaos of the Fimbulwinter weakens the cosmic order, and the wolves, fueled by an ancient hunger, finally gain the strength they need. One wolf, whose name means treachery, will leap across the sky and swallow the sun, plunging the realms into an immediate, shocking darkness. At the same moment, its brother, whose name means hate, will catch and devour the moon, extinguishing the last of the light. The stars themselves will vanish, sputtering out like candles in a gale. A profound and terrifying darkness will fall upon the 9 realms, a blackness deeper than any night, broken only by the fires of Muspelheim and the faint glimmer of frost in Niflheim. This cosmic event triggers a great upheaval. The great world tree, Yggdrasil, will shudder from its deepest roots to its highest leaves. The earth of Midgard will be racked with violent earthquakes, so powerful that mountains will crumble into dust and entire forests will be uprooted. The rising tremors will snap every chain, every fetter, every bond, both physical and magical, throughout all of creation. In the great abyss, the seas will boil and rise, crashing over the shores of the dying world in a catastrophic flood. High in Asgard, at the edge of the now-vanished Rainbow Bridge, the sleepless guardian, the sentinel, will witness these terrifying portents. He will see the sun and moon devoured. He will feel the great tree tremble. He will know that the final hour has come. He will raise his mighty horn, Gjallarhorn, to his lips. He will take a deep breath and sound a single, piercing blast. The note will be so pure and powerful that it will be heard in every corner of the 9 realms. It will echo in the silent halls of Helheim. It will shake the forges of the dwarves, and it will alert the gods in Asgard that the final war is upon them. The echo of the horn fades, leaving the worlds in darkness, silence, and fear. But the sound was not just an alarm. It was a key, turning the locks on ancient prisons. And in the depths of the earth, the first of the chains began to break. The piercing note of the sentinel's horn fades, but the great shudder of the world tree does not. The promise of the prophecy is fulfilled. In the violent, world-shaking tremor, every bond, every chain, and every fetter across the 9 realms is snapped. And in the forgotten prisons of the cosmos, 3 great and terrible powers are now unleashed. Deep within the realm of Asgard, on a secluded, barren island, lay the first of these prisoners. It was Fenrir, the colossal wolf, a child of the trickster god. The gods had feared his terrifying growth and strength, and so they had tricked him. They challenged him to break their bonds, first a great chain of iron, which he snapped with ease, then a second, even stronger one, which he also shattered. Finally, they presented him with a thin, silken ribbon, crafted by the dwarves from impossible things, the sound of a cat's footfall, the beard of a woman, the breath of a fish. Sensing deceit, the great wolf only agreed to be bound if one of the gods would place their hand in his mouth as a pledge of good faith. Only the bravest of them, the one-handed god of justice, stepped forward. When the wolf strained and found the magical ribbon would not break, he knew he was betrayed and, in a fit of rage, bit down, severing the god's hand. For an age, Fenrir had been bound by this unbreakable fetter, a sword wedged in his jaws to keep them open. But now, in the great earthquake, the dwarven magic fails. The ribbon splits apart. For the first time in centuries, Fenrir is free. A roar of pure, accumulated rage rips through the darkness, a sound of grinding worlds and breaking mountains. He has grown to a monster size. When he opens his great jaws, the bottom scrapes the ravaged earth and the top scrapes the starless sky. Fire burns in his eyes and drool of pure venom drips from his fangs. He is no longer just a wolf. He is a living engine of destruction, and his hatred for the gods of Asgard is his only guide. Meanwhile, in the black and churning seas that surround Midgard, the second of the trickster's children stirs. This is Jormungandr, the Midgard serpent. Cast into the ocean as a child by the Allfather, he grew to such an impossible length that his body encircled the entire world, forcing him to bite his own tail to fit. The great earthquake and the boiling of the seas cause him to finally release it. The serpent rises from the abyssal depths, his colossal head breaking the surface of the water and casting tidal waves that swallow entire coastlines. As he moves towards the land, he spews a cloud of black, deadly venom, poisoning the air and the water, and heralding his approach with a plague of death. And finally, deep within a lightless cavern in the earth, the architect of this doom is freed. Here, the gods had imprisoned the trickster himself, Loki. For his part in the death of the most beloved of the gods, he was bound to 3 sharp rocks with the enchanted entrails of his own murdered son. Above him, a giant serpent was fixed, its fangs dripping a single drop of burning venom onto his face, again and again, for eternity. Loki was not alone in his torment. His loyal wife sat by his side, holding a bowl to catch the poison. But whenever the bowl was full, she had to turn away to empty it. In those brief moments, the venom would strike Loki's face, causing him to writhe in an agony so immense that his thrashing caused the earthquakes that terrorized the world of men. Now, the final, great quake, the one that broke Fenrir's bonds, shatters his as well. The rocks split, the enchanted bonds turn to dust. Loki rises. He is no longer the handsome, silver-tongued god of mischief. His face is a mask of scars from the serpent's venom, and his heart is a cold, hard stone of pure vengeance. The 3 great enemies of Asgard are free: the wolf of ultimate destruction, the serpent of poison and plague, and the god of vengeance who commands them. With the great destroyers now unleashed, the time for portents was over. From every dark corner of the 9 realms, the armies of the apocalypse began to gather, their destination the final battlefield. With his ancient bonds turned to dust, Loki, the god of vengeance, wastes no time. His first act as a free being is to muster the forces of the apocalypse. He travels to the grim, cold realm of his daughter, Hela, the queen of the gloom. In the silent plains of Helheim, a terrible construction is now complete. It is the ship known as Naglfar, the Nailfarer. It is a ghastly, colossal vessel built entirely from the uncut fingernails and toenails of the dead. The countless deaths during the 3 years of the Ethimble have provided the final materials. Loki boards this horrifying ship, taking his place as its captain. At his command, Hela grants him an army, the legions of the dishonored dead. From the silent halls of Helheim, they rise, a countless host of pale, silent souls, their eyes vacant, their hearts filled with the chill of the grave. They will be the vanguard of Loki's assault. As Loki sets sail on the now risen seas, the call to war echoes in the other realms of chaos. In the Titan realm of Jotunheim, the ancient enemies of the gods, the Frost Titans, hear the summons. Led by their great chieftain, the Frost Lord, they arm themselves with clubs of ice and shields of frozen stone. Their hatred for the order and light of Asgard is as old as time itself, and they march from their frozen strongholds in a great, lumbering horde, their heavy footfalls shaking the foundations of the world. To the south, the prophecy is fulfilled for the great sovereign of Muspelheim. Surtur, the fire giant, sees the sunless sky and knows his time has come. He raises his flaming sword, which burns with the light of 1,000 suns, and leads the legions of fire out from their molten realm. They are a river of living flame, and their destination is the Bifrost, the shimmering bridge to Asgard. They step onto the magnificent structure, and its beautiful, multicolored arches instantly turn to white-hot ash. Under the immense, fiery weight of Surtur's army, the bridge of the gods cracks, groans, and shatters, collapsing into the abyss below and cutting Asgard off from the worlds below. All these forces, Loki and his ship of the dead, the Frost Lord and his army of Titans, and Surtur with his legions of fire, converge on a single, prophesied location. It is a vast, barren plain in the heart of the realms called Vigrid. The prophecy stated is 100 leagues wide and 100 leagues long, the only place vast enough to contain the slaughter that is to come. Here, the armies of darkness assemble, with the monstrous wolf Fenrir loping at their head and the great serpent Jormungandr slithering onto the shore, his venomous breath poisoning the very ground. But they do not arrive to an empty field. In Asgard, the All-Father has seen their approach. He consults the wise, preserved head of the Guardian Mason one last time, seeking final counsel. Then, the call to arms sounds through the Golden City. The gods of the Aesir don their battle armor. The mighty Thunder grips his hammer, his knuckles white. The one-handed god of justice takes up his sword, his face grim with resolve. From the great hall of Valhalla, the army of heroes emerges. These are the Einherjar, the souls of the bravest human warriors who died in battle, chosen by the Valkyries and brought to Asgard to train for this very day. For centuries, they have feasted and fought, preparing for the final war. They now march forth, a magnificent army of champions, their spears and shields gleaming even in the oppressive darkness. The hosts of Asgard, the unified Aesir and Vanir gods, alongside the heroic army of mankind, march to meet their doom on the plains of Vigrid. They arrive to see the horizon filled with the dark legions of their enemies. The two great armies stand arrayed against each other across the vast, empty plain. A silence falls over the world, a moment of terrible, still anticipation. The time for portents, for prophecies, for marching was over. The final battle for the fate of the 9 realms had begun. A terrible silence hangs over the plain of Vigrid for a single heartbeat, and then, with a thunderous roar, the two armies charge. The final battle begins. The Allfather, Odin, leads the charge of the gods and the Einherjar on his 8-legged steed, his golden helmet gleaming like a final, defiant sunrise. The armies crash together in a cataclysm of splintering shields, shattering steel, and dying screams. But this battle will not be decided by armies. It will be decided by the fated duels between the great champions of the cosmos. The Allfather ignores the chaos of the melee, his one eye fixed on his prophesied doom. He rides directly towards the monstrous wolf, Fenrir. The wolf, a creature of pure chaos, meets his charge with a roar that shakes the heavens. But for all his wisdom and power, the Allfather cannot escape his destiny. The great wolf's strength is absolute, his fury unquenchable. In a swift, brutal clash, Fenrir opens his colossal jaws, and the king of the gods, horse and all, is swallowed whole, vanishing into the beast's dark gullet. The first and greatest of the gods has fallen. Seeing his father's death, the mighty thunderer, Thor, lets out a cry of pure rage. He seeks out his own ancient nemesis, Jormungandr, the Midgard serpent, who is thrashing at the edge of the battlefield, spewing venom and crushing heroes in its coils. Their final battle is a storm of cosmic fury. The serpent lashes out, and Thor meets every attack with a blow from his hammer, Mjolnir. The sound of their fight is like the breaking of worlds. Filled with a god's grief and strength, Thor raises his hammer one last time and brings it down upon the serpent's head with all his might, crushing its skull and ending its life. The champion of Asgard stands victorious over the dead monster for only a moment. In its death throes, the serpent spews a final, massive torrent of black venom, drenching the god. The thunderer stumbles backward, 9 paces, one for each realm of the world he protected, before the potent poison overwhelms him. He drops his hammer, falls to his knees, and then collapses dead. The greatest defender of gods and men has also fallen. Across the battlefield, other destinies are met. The one-handed god of justice, Tyr, confronts the monstrous guard dog of Helheim. Theirs is a savage, desperate fight, and in the end, they kill each other, the god's sword finding the beast's heart just as its fangs close on his throat. Elsewhere, the trickster Loki and the sentinel, the guardian Heimdall, finally meet. Their hatred for each other is ancient and deep. They fight with a bitter passion, and like the god of justice, they are too evenly matched. They trade mortal blows, and both collapse to the ground, dying together. Loki, the architect of this doom, is finally silenced, but not before taking his great rival with him. But the death of the Allfather does not go unanswered. A quiet god, one of Odin's sons who is destined for this single moment of vengeance, steps forward. He wears a single, thick-soled shoe, crafted from all the leather scraps discarded by mortal shoemakers throughout time. He marches toward Fenrir, who is still roaring in triumph. He places his enchanted shoe on the wolf's lower jaw, grabs the upper jaw with his bare hands, and with a surge of divine strength born of grief, he tears the great monster apart. The Allfather is avenged. The great champions had fallen, their duels of destiny complete. The battlefield fell silent, save for the crackling of flames. And through the smoke and ruin, the fire giant Surtur, his great burning sword held high, walked unopposed towards the dying world tree. The age of gods was over. The age of fire had come. The great duels are done. The gods are dead. The battlefield of Vigrid is a silent, broken testament to a fallen age. Through the smoke and ruin, a single, colossal figure walks unopposed. It is Surtur, the sovereign of Muspelheim, his purpose finally at hand. He reaches the great, trembling world tree, Yggdrasil, the pillar of a creation now in its death throes. He does not act with malice or glee, but with the grim finality of destiny. He raises his great, burning sword high. With a single, sweeping motion, he unleashes the pure, primordial fire of his realm. The flames, white-hot and all-consuming, strike the trunk of the world tree. The ancient, cosmic bark instantly catches fire, and the inferno spreads with impossible speed. The fire races up the trunk, consuming the branches and the realms they hold. Midgard, the world of men, is scoured by a wave of flame. The deep forges of the dwarves are extinguished. The sunlit realm of Alfheim withers to ash. The golden halls of Asgard, the city of the gods, melt and collapse into ruin. Everything burns. The fire is a great, cleansing agent, burning away the old, the corrupt, and the dead. When the fire has consumed all there is to burn, the land itself gives way. The ravaged, blackened earth groans one last time and sinks beneath the waves of the world's great ocean. The sea, which rose in a great flood at the start of the battle, now claims the entirety of creation. All is darkness. All is silence. There is only a vast, formless ocean under a sunless, starless sky. The old world is gone. For an age, there is nothing. But the end was never truly the end. Slowly, gently, a new world begins to rise from the calm, dark sea. It is a world of breathtaking beauty, greener and fairer than the one that came before. The air is pure, the water is clean. The venom of the serpent and the hatred of the final war have been washed away. In the sky above, a new sun appears. It is the daughter of the old sun, born just before her mother was devoured by the great wolf, and her light is warm and gentle. Life returns. A few of the gods survived the final cataclysm. The quiet son of Odin who avenged his father emerges into the new dawn. The two sons of the great thunderer also survived, and as they walk through the fresh green grass, they find their father's mighty hammer, Mjolnir, lying unharmed, ready to protect a new age. And from the now powerless realm of Helheim, the most beloved of the gods, whose death was the catalyst for this doom, is now released. He and his brother return to the world of the living, their innocence a sign of the new world's promise. They were not the only survivors. Hidden deep within the wood of the world tree itself, which was not entirely consumed, two humans had taken shelter. Their names meant life and the will to live. They now emerge into the sunlight of the new world. From this single pair, a new race of humanity will be born, a people who will live in a world free from the strife and chaos of the past. The surviving gods gather on the plains where Asgard once stood, and they find the golden game pieces that the original gods had played with at the dawn of time. They talk of the past, of the friends they lost, and the battles they fought. But their gaze is fixed on the future. They will build a new, better world. The great cycle is complete. The tree has fallen, and from its seed, a new one has begun to grow. The universe has been reborn. The great cycle of the world tree has now been told, from its first roots to its final rebirth. The stage is set to tell the individual sagas of the great figures who lived within it. The new world is born from the ashes of the old, a quiet and hopeful dawn after a long and terrible night. But to truly understand why the old world had to burn, we must turn back the clock. We must look past the final war and the breaking of chains, to the beginning of the story of the one who is the catalyst for it all. We must now tell the tragic and complex tale of Loki, the god of mischief, the shapeshifter, the silver-tongued agent of chaos. Loki was not like the other gods of Asgard. He was not born of their divine lineage. He was a child of the Titan realm, the son of a frost giant, a being of the primal chaos that the Aesir had sworn to keep at bay. In his youth, the All-Father, Odin, encountered the remarkably clever and handsome Loki and was so impressed by his wit that he performed a sacred ritual, swearing an oath of blood brotherhood. He brought Loki to Asgard to live among them, making the giant a god by adoption. This single act placed Loki forever in two worlds. By oath, he was a brother to the gods of order. By birth, he was a son of the giants of chaos. He was an eternal outsider, living in the Golden City, but carrying the blood of its most ancient enemy. This duality would define his entire existence. In his early days in Asgard, Loki was not a villain. He was a vital, if unpredictable, part of their society. While the Thunderer had strength and the All-Father had wisdom, Loki possessed a cunning intellect that surpassed them all. More often than not, it was Loki who got the gods into terrible trouble, but it was also almost always Loki whose brilliant schemes got them out again. He was their double-edged sword, their necessary evil, their problem solver. A perfect example of his nature unfolded early in his time in Asgard. One morning, the Thunderer's wife, the goddess Sif, awoke to find her magnificent, floor-length golden hair, her greatest pride, was gone. She was completely bald. It was an act of pure, pointless malice, and everyone knew who was responsible. The enraged Thunderer found Loki and threatened to break every bone in his body. Terrified, Loki promised to make it right. He journeyed to the deep forges of Níðhöggr and approached the most skilled craftsmen, a group of dwarves known as the Sons of Ivaldi. He commissioned them to create 3 great treasures, including a new head of hair for Sif. They forged a magnificent mane of the finest spun gold, which, through their magic, would attach to her head and grow just like real hair. But Loki, ever the schemer, saw an opportunity. He went to 2 other dwarven brothers and declared that the Sons of Ivaldi were the greatest smiths in the world. He then wagered his own head that the brothers could not create 3 treasures to equal the first. Spurred by pride, the brothers accepted the challenge. As they worked their great forge, Loki, in the form of a fly, repeatedly bit them, trying to ruin their work. Despite his meddling, they produced 3 masterpieces, the greatest of which was the Warhammer Mjolnir, though its handle was slightly short due to Loki's interference. Loki presented all 6 gifts to the gods, and they agreed that the hammer was the greatest treasure of all, meaning Loki had lost his bet. When the dwarves came to claim his head, Loki cleverly pointed out that he had wagered his head, but not his neck, and they could not take one without harming the other. Cheated of their prize, the furious dwarves settled for sewing his lips shut with a leather thong. Loki eventually tore the stitches out, but the scars remained. This story became his legacy, an act of malice, followed by a brilliant scheme that not only fixed the problem but also gifted the gods their most powerful treasures, yet ended with him in pain and disgrace. He was both their greatest benefactor and their greatest liability. This act of mischief and recovery cemented Loki's role in Asgard. But the laughter of the gods was always edged with distrust, and as time wore on, the giant's blood within him would begin to pull him towards a much darker path, a path that would lead to the birth of monsters. Loki walked a fine line in Asgard, his cleverness a constant source of both salvation and trouble for the gods. But his giant's blood called to him, and he often found himself wandering far from the Golden City, seeking out the wild, untamed places of the cosmos. In his journeys through the Titan realm of Jotunheim, he met a powerful giantess named Angrboda, a name that in the old tongue meant she who brings sorrow. She was a being of raw, primal magic, and in her, Loki found a reflection of his own chaotic heart. Their union, hidden from the watchful eyes of Asgard, brought forth 3 children. These were not gods, nor were they simple giants. They were something far more elemental, beings destined to play a terrible role in the fate of the 9 realms. Their firstborn was a wolf named Fenrir. From the moment of his birth, it was clear he was no ordinary animal. He grew at a terrifying rate, his strength and ferocity increasing with every passing day. His hunger was insatiable, and his eyes burned with a wild, destructive intelligence. He was the embodiment of untamable, physical fury. Their second child was a serpent, Jormungandr. He too grew to an impossible size, his scales as dark as the void between the stars. He was a creature of the deep, his blood a potent black venom, a living incarnation of plague and the crushing power of the abyss. Their third and final child was a daughter named Hela. She was not a beast like her brothers, but her appearance was perhaps the most unsettling of all. From her head to her waist, she was a strikingly beautiful woman, but from the waist down, her body was that of a decaying corpse, mottled and blue. She was born on the line between life and death, the grim, silent embodiment of the grave. In Asgard, the All-Father's prophetic sight gave him glimpses of a dark future. He saw a great wolf devouring the sun, a mighty serpent poisoning the world, and a queen of the dead presiding over a shadowy army. He knew these were Loki's children, and he understood that if left to grow in power, they would be the instruments of the gods' destruction. And so, with a heavy heart, he decreed that the children must be taken. The gods of Asgard rode into Jotunheim and seized the 3 children from their mother. Loki, a sworn brother of Odin, was forced to stand by as his divine family tore his own monstrous family apart. It was an act of brutal necessity in the eyes of the gods, but to Loki, it was the ultimate betrayal. They had judged his children not for what they had done, but for what they might one day do. The gods returned to Asgard with their captives, and the All-Father passed judgment on each. Jormungandr, the great serpent, he hurled into the vast ocean that encircles Midgard, hoping the depths would contain him. But there, the serpent grew and grew until his body was long enough to wrap around the entire world. Hela, his daughter, was banished to the coldest, darkest depths of Niflheim. There, the All-Father gave her dominion over all who died of sickness or old age, making her the queen of the dishonored dead in the realm that would become known as Helheim. But it was Fenrir they feared the most. His raw power and visible hatred for the gods made him too dangerous to set loose. They decided to keep him in Asgard, under their watchful eyes, which led to their desperate and treacherous plot to bind him with the unbreakable dwarven ribbon, an act that would cost the god of justice his hand. Loki returned to Asgard, his face a mask of compliance, but his heart a cold stone of grief and rage. The gods believed they had contained a future threat, but all they had truly done was create their most dangerous enemy. They had taken his children, and in doing so, they had given him a reason for revenge, a reason that would fester in silence until it erupted in the single most tragic event in Asgard's history. After the gods of Asgard had bound his children and scattered them across the cosmos, an uneasy peace settled over the Golden City. Loki walked among them, his face a mask of charm and wit, but his heart was a silent, cold chamber of grief where he nurtured a single, burning desire for revenge. He watched the gods feast and laugh, and he waited, his patience as long and as cold as a serpent's stare. His opportunity would come with the dimming of Asgard's greatest light. This light was Baldur, the son of the All-Father and his queen. Baldur was the god of light, joy, and purity, and he was the most beautiful and beloved being in all of creation. His presence was like a constant, gentle sunrise, and where he walked, no darkness or evil could linger. The love that all beings felt for Baldur was the very soul of Asgard's golden age. But a shadow fell over this idyllic existence. Baldur began to be tormented by terrible nightmares, dreams filled with darkness and premonitions of his own death. A deep gloom fell over Asgard, for if the god of light could be touched by such darkness, then no one was safe. Desperate to protect her son, Baldur's mother, the queen of the gods, embarked on a great quest. She traveled to all 9 realms and took a solemn oath from everything in existence not to harm her son. Fire and water, iron and all other metals, stones, trees, sicknesses, beasts, and poisons all swore the oath, for all things loved Baldur. With Baldur now believed to be invulnerable, the gods' fear turned to joyous celebration. They invented a new sport. They would gather in a great assembly, and one by one, they would hurl weapons at Baldur. Spears, axes, great stones. All would either bounce harmlessly off him or veer away at the last moment, refusing to break their oath. The gods would roar with laughter and relief, celebrating the triumph of their beloved prince over the darkness of his dreams. Everyone celebrated, except one. Loki stood in the shadows, watching. He saw not a celebration of life, but a mockery. The gods celebrated Baldur's invincibility, while his own children were chained and banished simply for the threat they might one day pose. This hypocrisy curdled his grief into a cold, calculated plan. He shifted his shape, transforming into a frail, elderly woman, and hobbled to the queen's palace. With a trembling voice, he praised her for her great achievement. "Is it true," the old woman croaked, "that all things have sworn to protect your son?" The queen, swelling with pride, confirmed it was so. "All things." Loki pressed gently. "Did you miss nothing at all? Not even the smallest, most insignificant thing?" The queen laughed. "Oh, there was one thing," she confided. "A little shrub growing west of the Great Hall. Mistletoe. It seemed too young and harmless to trouble with an oath." It was all Loki needed to hear. He vanished, and in his true form, he went to the place the queen had described. He cut a branch of the overlooked mistletoe and, with a sharp knife and dark thoughts, he whittled it into a hard, sharpened dart. He then returned to the god's game. He saw Baldur's brother, the blind god of winter, standing alone at the edge of the circle, unable to take part in the joyous celebration. Loki approached him, his voice full of false sympathy. "Why do you not also throw something to honor your brother?" he asked. The blind god sighed. "Because I cannot see where he stands, and I have no weapon." Loki's voice was like honey. "Let me help you," he said. "Do as the others do, and show your brother respect." He placed the mistletoe dart into the blind god's hand and guided his arm, pointing it directly at the unsuspecting Baldur. The blind god, thinking it a harmless game, threw the dart with all his strength. It flew straight and true. The dart, made from the one thing in all of creation that had not sworn an oath, struck the shining god in the chest. Baldur collapsed to the ground, dead. The laughter of the gods froze. A horrified, unbelieving silence fell over the assembly, which was then shattered by a collective wail of anguish so profound that it shook the foundations of Asgard. The light of the world had been extinguished. In the stunned silence that followed, the gods stared at the lifeless body of their most beloved, and then their eyes turned to Loki. The trickster smile was gone, replaced by a cold satisfaction. He had finally repaid the gods for the pain they had caused him, but in doing so, he had sealed not only his own grim fate, but the fate of Asgard itself. The first true step on the path to Ragnarök had just been taken. The murder of Baldur plunged Asgard into a grief so profound that the very light of the realm seemed to dim. The gods stood in stunned silence over the body of their fallen prince, their sorrow too deep for words. They all knew Loki was the architect of this tragedy, but the crime had been committed on a sacred field of peace, a place where oaths forbade them from taking immediate revenge. For now, all they could do was mourn. They prepared the greatest funeral the Nine Realms had ever seen. Baldur's magnificent ship, the largest vessel ever built, was to be his funeral pyre. They carried his body and laid it upon a great pyre on the deck. Seeing her husband's lifeless form, Baldur's wife, Nanna, was overcome with such a powerful wave of grief that her heart broke and she collapsed, dead. The gods gently placed her on the pyre beside him, but the ship, laden with the weight of their sorrow, was too heavy for even the gods to push into the sea. They were forced to summon a powerful giantess from the Titan realm, who launched the vessel with a single, mighty push that made the earth tremble. The Thunderer then stepped forward and consecrated the pyre with his hammer, and the flames rose to the heavens as the ship drifted out into the dark, silent ocean. In the days that followed, the Queen of the Gods, Baldur's mother, refused to be consumed by despair. She rose before the grieving assembly and asked, "Is there any among you brave enough to ride the road to Hel? Is there one who would journey to the realm of the dead and offer a ransom to Hela, if she might be persuaded to release my son?" A hero stepped forward. It was another of the All-Father's sons, Hermod the Bold. For this desperate quest, he was given his father's 8-legged steed, the fastest horse in all creation. For 9 days and 9 nights, Hermod rode through valleys so deep and dark that he could not see the sun. He finally came to the great, echoing gate of Helheim, the realm ruled by Loki's own daughter. He found Baldur within, sitting in a seat of honor, pale but serene. Hermod pleaded with Queen Hela, telling her of the immeasurable sorrow that had fallen upon all the 9 realms since Baldur's death. He begged her to let the god of light return. Hela, her face as impassive and grim as the grave, listened. She then made her decree. "I will test the truth of your words," she said in a voice as cold as a winter tomb. "If all things in the 9 realms, living and dead, weep for Baldur, then he shall return to you. But if even one being refuses, if a single voice speaks against him, he shall remain with me forever." Hermod returned to Asgard with this sliver of hope. Immediately, the gods sent messengers to every corner of creation. They asked everyone and everything to weep for Baldur, to cry the tears that would ransom him from death. And all of creation complied. Humanity wept. The elves wept. The dwarves wept in their deep forges. Even the frost titans, the ancient enemies of the gods, shed tears of ice. The trees wept sap. The stones wept dew. The very metals of the earth seemed to cry with sorrow. The messengers, their quest all but complete, were on their way back to Asgard, their hearts full of joy. In a dark cave at the edge of the world, they found one last living being, a single, ancient giantess. They asked her to weep for Baldur. The giantess, whose name was Thok, merely scoffed. "Thok will weep only dry tears for Baldur's funeral," she croaked, her voice devoid of any warmth. "I had no use for him living, and I have no use for him dead. Let Hela keep what she has." The messengers returned with the terrible news. The hope of Asgard was extinguished for good by one cold, unfeeling heart. The gods now knew for certain that the giantess was Loki in disguise. He had not only murdered their beloved, but he had also single-handedly sabotaged their only chance to bring him back. All oaths of peace were now void. The time for grief was over. The time for vengeance had come. With Baldur's return sabotaged and Loki's final, cruel treachery revealed, The rage of the gods was absolute. All oaths of sanctuary were broken. The Allfather declared Loki an enemy of Asgard, and the great hunt began. Knowing there was nowhere in the 9 realms he could hide from the Allfather's sight, Loki fled to a remote mountain range. There, he built a house with 4 doors, one on each wall, so he could watch for his pursuers from all directions. His days were spent in a state of paranoid fear. He would often transform himself into a salmon and hide in a clear pool at the bottom of a nearby waterfall. In the evenings, sitting by his fire, his mind, ever the strategist, would ponder how the gods might try to catch a creature as swift and clever as a salmon. It was during these fearful meditations that he wove the world's first fishing net from linen and string, imagining it as the very tool of his own capture. From his high throne in Asgard, the Allfather saw Loki's hiding place. He gathered the strongest of the gods, and they descended upon the mountain. Loki, seeing them approach from his 4-doored house, had just enough time to throw his newly invented net into the fire, destroying the evidence of his thoughts, before leaping into the river and transforming into a salmon. The gods entered the empty house. As they looked upon the fire, one of them, the wisest after the Allfather, noticed the delicate, diamond-shaped pattern of the ash left by the burning net. He understood at once what Loki had been planning and what they must do. Using the pattern in the ash as a guide, the gods wove a new net, identical to the one Loki had invented. They took the net to the river and began to drag it through the water. The salmon Loki was too clever, darting away and hiding between 2 smooth stones at the bottom of the riverbed. The gods dragged the net a second time, weighing it down so it scraped the bottom. Seeing he could no longer hide, Loki waited until the net was almost upon him, and then made a desperate leap, clearing the top of the net and swimming frantically downstream towards the sea. The gods divided their forces. They would drag the net one last time, but the mighty thunderer, Thor, would wade into the river downstream to block any escape. Loki, now trapped between the approaching net and the powerful god, saw he had only one chance. He gathered all his strength and made one final, spectacular leap over the net. But as he flew through the air, the thunder lunged, his reflexes as fast as the lightning he commanded. Thor caught the salmon in his bare hand. The creature was slippery and writhed with incredible force, but the god's grip was like iron. He held Loki so tightly by the tail that, to this day, all salmon are tapered at their ends. His flight was over. In Thor's grip, Loki was forced back into his true form. He did not beg or plead, but merely stared at his captors with cold, defiant eyes. The gods took him to a deep, dark cavern, a place of endless gloom. Their vengeance was terrible. They brought forth Loki's 2 other sons, those he had fathered with his loyal wife, Sigyn. In their rage, they transformed one son into a ravenous wolf, which immediately set upon and killed its own brother. They then took the enchanted entrails of the slain son and used them as unbreakable bonds to tie Loki to 3 great, sharp-edged stones. To complete his torment, one of the goddesses placed a colossal, venomous serpent on a ledge above him. The serpent's fangs dripped a single drop of burning, acidic venom onto Loki's face, over and over again, for all eternity. But he was not left completely alone. His faithful wife, Sigyn, never abandoned him. She found her way to the dark cave and sat by his side, holding a wooden bowl to catch the venom before it could strike him. Her loyalty was his only comfort, but whenever the bowl became full, she would have to turn away to empty it. In those brief moments, the venom would fall upon Loki, and the pain was so excruciating that his body would convulse, shaking the very foundations of the earth and causing the earthquakes that plagued the world of men. And so Loki, the catalyst of chaos, was bound in the dark, his crimes finally answered with an eternity of torment. There he would remain until the world itself began to break. With the trickster imprisoned and the light of Asgard gone, the 9 realms entered a darker, more dangerous age. It was an age that would be defined not by cunning or light, but by vigilance and strength. It was the age of the Thunderer, Thor, whose greatest battles were yet to come. In the long years after the gods' wars with the Titans, but before Loki's final treachery, the primary defender of both Asgard and Midgard was the mighty god Thor. He was more than just a god of thunder. He was the embodiment of strength, honor, and duty. While the Allfather navigated the complex web of fate and prophecy, Thor's role was far more direct. He was the unwavering shield against the forces of chaos. This is the story of his most famous journey, a tale that would test not only the strength of his arm but the limits of his perception. Seeking to measure their prowess against the Titans of Jotunheim, Thor set out on a journey to the east. He was not alone. With him was the ever-unpredictable Loki, whose quick wits often served as a counterpoint to Thor's directness. They were also accompanied by two swift-footed mortal servants. After traveling for a day, they came to a vast, dark forest. As night fell, they searched for shelter and stumbled upon a strange, enormous building. The entrance was a massive, gaping archway that took up the entire width of one wall, and the interior was a single, cavernous hall. Finding it empty, they made their camp for the night. But their sleep was not restful. All night long, the earth trembled, and a terrible, groaning, rumbling sound filled the air, shaking the very walls of their shelter. Fearing the roof would collapse, they moved to a smaller side chamber for safety. Thor, ever the guardian, stood watch at the entrance all night, his hammer, Mjolnir, held tightly in his hand. When the sun finally rose, they exited the strange hall to investigate the source of the noise. The truth was far more shocking than they could have imagined. Lying on the ground nearby was a giant, a creature of truly impossible scale, fast asleep. The terrible rumbling that had frightened them all night was simply the sound of his snoring. As they watched, the giant awoke and stood up, his head blocking out the morning sun. He looked down at the gods as if they were insects. The great hall they had slept in, they now realized, was not a building at all. It was the giant's glove, and the side chamber they had hidden in was its thumb. The giant introduced himself as Skrymir, which meant big fellow, and he seemed surprisingly friendly. He recognized the Thunderer and proposed they travel together, even offering to carry their provisions in his own massive sack. Thor agreed, and they continued their journey. That evening, Skrymir found a place for them to rest beneath a large oak tree and promptly fell into a deep sleep. While the giant snored, Thor and his companions attempted to get their food from the sack. But the knots Skrymir had tied were so tight and complex that not even Thor could undo them. Hungry, exhausted, and utterly humiliated, Thor's infamous temper began to flare. He gripped Mjolnir, walked over to the sleeping giant, and with all his might, he swung the hammer down upon the center of Skrymir's forehead. The giant stirred. "Did a leaf just fall on my head?" he mumbled, and then went back to sleep. A second time, his rage building, Thor struck the giant, swinging the hammer so hard he was certain the head had sunk deep into the giant's skull. Skrymir awoke again.
"What was that?" he asked.
"An acorn, perhaps? It fell on my cheek." Now in a state of pure fury, Thor delivered a third and final blow, a strike so powerful it would have leveled a mountain. He put the entire strength of Asgard behind it. The giant sat up. "There are birds in this tree, I think," he said, rubbing his temple. "I thought I felt a piece of moss they dropped." Utterly baffled and his pride deeply wounded, Thor could not understand why his mightiest blows had failed. The next morning, Skrymir bid them farewell, pointing them towards a great castle in the distance, the fortress of the Giant King, Utgard Loki. "I will give you some advice," the giant said with a curious smile. "When you get there, don't act so boastful. They won't stand for arrogance from little fellows like you." Thor and his companions arrived at the castle, a fortress so tall they had to crane their necks back to see its peak. The gates were barred, but the gaps were so large they could simply slip through. Inside the great hall, the giant king Utgard Loki sat on his high throne, surrounded by his court. He looked down on the small newcomers with a contemptuous smile. "I have heard tales of your great deeds," he boomed. "But no one is welcome here unless they can prove their worth in a contest of skill." Thor, his pride already shattered by his encounter in the forest, stepped forward, his hand gripping his hammer. The greatest test of his life was about to begin, but it would not be a test of strength alone. Thor and his companions stood before the high throne of Utgard Loki, the Giant King. The challenge had been issued. They must prove their worth in a series of contests. Loki, ever boastful of his appetite, was the first to accept. He claimed he could eat faster than any being in the hall. The king brought forth a champion named Logi, and a long trough filled with meat was placed between them. At the signal, both began to eat with ferocious speed. Loki consumed all the meat on his side, leaving only bare bones. But his opponent, Logi, had devoured not only the meat, but the bones and the wooden trough itself. Loki had been defeated. Next, Thor's swift-footed human servant was challenged to a race against a youth from the court named Hugi. They raced 3 times, and each time, Hugi was so impossibly fast that he reached the finish line and turned back to greet the mortal as he arrived. The second contest was also lost. Now it was the Thunderer's turn. Utgard Loki offered him a large, curved drinking horn, claiming that his men could usually empty it in a single drink. Thor, confident in his abilities, put the horn to his lips and drank as deeply as he could. But when he pulled it away, the level of the liquid had barely dropped. Annoyed, he tried a second time, and then a third, each time drinking until his lungs burned, but the horn remained stubbornly full. Humiliated, he had failed. For the next contest, the king mocked him, suggesting he try a simple feat of strength, lifting the king's large, gray cat from the floor. Thor, insulted by such a childish game, wrapped his arms around the cat's middle and lifted with all his divine might. The cat's back arched impossibly high, but Thor could only manage to raise one of its paws from the ground before his strength gave out. Now utterly enraged, Thor demanded a real fight, a wrestling match. Utgard Loki smiled and called for his childhood nurse, an ancient, frail-looking old woman named Ellie. Thor was to wrestle her. Despite the insult, Thor engaged the old woman, but he found her strength to be unbelievable. The harder he pushed, the more immovable she became, until finally, with a great effort, she forced the mighty god of thunder down onto one knee. The contests were over. The gods of Asgard were completely and utterly defeated. The next morning, a somber Thor and his companions were led out of the fortress by Utgard Loki. Once they were clear of the gates, the giant king stopped and spoke. "Now that you are out of my city, which you will never enter again," he said, "I will tell you the truth. It was I you met in the forest," he explained. "I was the giant Skrymir. The knots on the food sack were bound with magical iron wire, and the 3 blows you struck with your hammer never hit me. I used my magic to place a great mountain between us."
Look.
He pointed to a distant mountain range, and on its flat tops, Thor could now see 3 enormous, deep valleys, carved by his own mist hammer blows. The contests, too, were illusions, the king continued. Loki was fast, but he competed against Logi, which is the old giant word for wildfire. And what can eat faster than flame? Your runner Thialfi is the swiftest of men, but his opponent Hugi was thought, and what can run faster than the speed of thought? He then turned to Thor. Your own feats were the most terrifying of all. The drinking horn you tried to empty had its other end connected to the sea. You drank so deeply that you created the tides that now pull at every shore. The cat you could barely lift was no cat at all. It was Jormungandr, the Midgard serpent, held in a magical disguise. When you lifted its paw from the floor, you had actually lifted the world-encircling serpent so high into the air that all of us feared you would break the sky. And the old woman you wrestled, Utgard Loki finished, his voice now full of awe, was Ellie. She is old age itself, and there has never been, nor will there ever be, anyone who can defeat old age. As the giant king finished his confession, Thor raised his hammer in a rage to strike him down, but in that instant, Utgard Loki and his entire fortress vanished completely, leaving only an empty field. Thor had been humbled, but he had learned a vital lesson, that there are forces in the universe, deceit, time, and thought, that cannot be defeated by strength alone. These have been the great sagas of the northern world, from the creation of the cosmos to its fiery end and hopeful rebirth, from the tragic fall of a trickster to the humbling of a hero. They are the stories of a world held in the eternal balance of order and chaos, of wisdom and war, of destiny and defiance. Thank you for joining this journey through the branches of the World Tree, brought to you by Anana's Creation.